haven't.
Afternoon, everybody. Uh, Finance Committee meeting I'd like to call to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Conklin.
Here.
Councilmember Clifford. Here. Councilmember McFadden. Vice President Miller.
Here.
President Scott.
Here. I should like to also add that Councilmember McFadden is in South Carolina attending a family funeral. We certainly send our sympathies to his family. And I should note that we're joined by Councilmember Haig, Councilmember Ortiz, Councilmember Patterson, and Councilmember Spall. First item on the agenda is introductory number 180, authorizing an agreement for the 2017 Key Bank Rochester Fringe Festival. Questions on introductory number 180? If not, a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And I say aye. Carries 4-0. Introductory number 181, authorizing an amendatory agreement with Personal Energy Incorporated related to the development and administration of a physical agility test. Questions on 181?
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And I say aye. Carries 4-0. Introductory number 220, authorizing an agreement with Enter Computer Services, Inc. related to the upgrade of Microsoft Access Systems. Questions? Councilmember Clifford, you had one of your sets. Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Motion to adopt?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 I say aye. Carries 4-0. Introductory number 222, resolution approving the 2017-18 debt limit for general municipal purposes. Questions on introductory number 222? Not a motion?
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I say aye. Carries 4-0. Introductory number 223, adoption of the budget estimates for municipal purposes for the 2017-18 fiscal year, appropriation of sums set forth therein, and approving commercial refuse fees. I may have a motion to consider.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And I say aye. Carries 4-0. Introductory number 224, levying taxes for municipal purposes for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2017 and expiring June 30th, 2018. Questions? A motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Say aye. Carries 4-0. Introductory number 225, confirming the assessments, amounts, and charges to be inserted in the annual tax rolls for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2017 and expiring June 30th, 2018.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries 4-0. Introductory number 226, levying taxes for school purposes for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2017 and expiring June 30th, 2018. Motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Nay. Carries 3-1. Introductory number 227, local improvement ordinance, street cleaning, street and sidewalk snow removal, hazardous sidewalk repair, commencing July 1st, 2017 and expiring June 30th, 2018. Motion to adopt?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And I say aye, carries 4-0. Introductory number 228, amending the municipal code with respect to designated parking garages and parking rates. Motion to adopt, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 I say aye, carries 4-0. Introductory number 229, amending the municipal code with respect to water rates.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And I say aye. Carries 4-0. Introductory number 230, amending the municipal code with respect to refuse fees.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And I say aye. Carries 4-0. Introductory number 231, a local law amending the city charter with regard to fees and actions for foreclosure of tax liens by the city.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Introductory number 223, adoption of the budget estimates for school purposes for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2017, and expiring June 30, 2018, and appropriation of sums set forth therein. I will be voting no on this issue, and before I cast a no vote, I would just like to reiterate my displeasure yesterday at the portion of the school district budget that underlined and blamed the city of Rochester for not being able to appropriate all the capital money they wanted for bonding. That is, I think, a very snide swipe at a responsible government that passed a very responsible bond policy, and which was voted on by all 9 council members and signed by the mayor of the city of Rochester. In the years that I've been in this government, our city government has, budget has increased 5-fold, and the city school district has increased 20-fold. Our employees have gone from 3,300 to less than that. Their school population has gone from 46,000 to 26,000, while their costs keep increasing. I will vote no on this budget, and I think that's all I have to say. If anybody else has a comment, I'd be glad to hear it. President Scott?
Are you, what was the question?
Oh, it's to move for consideration.
Oh, yes, so moved.
I do share your frustration, I guess, with that situation, but I will second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The motion carries 3-1. Any other business to come before the...
232. 232.
I beg your pardon?
Go back to 232. We didn't act on that.
233 is the school budget.
232.
No. 232.
Oh, I'm sorry, amending the municipal code with respect to towing fees. Oh, I don't like that one. Okay, no, I'm sorry, I did skip over that.
Right.
Introduction number 232, amending the municipal code with respect to towing fees.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, please say aye.
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 And I say aye, carries 4-0. Any additional business to come before the Finance Committee? If not, we stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Go ahead. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call the Business and Economic Development Committee to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Vice President Miller,
Here.
Councilmember Patterson, Councilmember Spall, President Scott.
Thank you very much. I would note that we're joined by the other members of council. We have 2 introductories tonight. Introductory number 182, which is authorizing the sale of a land parcel at 270 East Avenue. Are there any questions from council on introductory number 270? I'm sorry, introductory 182, which is 270 East Avenue. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. Jumping ahead here. Okay. Matt Haig,
Yeah, yes,
Councilmember Haig. Yes.
yes. Yeah, on 182.
I
So-
saw you, you looked like you were like,
I wasn't sure when we were going to 270, Dan.
yeah, I'm sorry. Right.
I'd have to make something up.
We can go there later if you'd like.
Yeah, I had asked a question in regards to the planned parking for this spot, and it's currently listed as 124. I realized I failed to ask another question that would make this more sensible. How many units are currently planned in this building in terms of 1, 2, multiple bedroom, and square footage of retail that might also not necessarily require but may appreciate parking?
I'm going to allow the developers to answer that question. I know how many units, but I'm not sure how many 1 and 2 bedroom apartments there are. So we've got Betsy Brugg, who will be speaking on behalf of the developer.
Turn your
Can you
mic on, Betsy.
make sure your green light is on the microphone?
Okay, I'm sorry. Betsy Brugg, I'm an attorney for Morgan Management, assisting with this project. We were before met with the PRC this week, and they have been working Still on- can't.
I still can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Much better, yes. Thank
So
you.
if you've seen the concept plan for this building, the building that's along Charlotte Street is going to be office. It'll be I believe a 4-story office space. And then there's a small area of retail shown in the frontage on East Avenue. The area above the retail will all be residential, and then the parking area is going to be located sort of discreetly hidden in the middle of the building. It's still a bit of a work in progress.
Okay, so it's 124 parking spots is the information that we received. And I guess
That's
my question is,
approximately right. It could be up or down a couple.
the capacity of the building in terms of total number of residential tenants, retail tenants, office tenants that would require parking.
So we are showing parking sufficient for the use, and I believe we're also showing some street parking that will be along the street. Let me see if I have a unit count. So you bear with me. Look at the most current plan here. Okay. You have the room matrix. You just let me grab my glasses.
Sure.
So we are showing 1-bedroom units. Let's see if I can read this. We have 6 studio units, 57, about 62 1-bedroom units. 29 and 8 is 30, 37, 39, 41, 42, 43 2-bedroom units for a total of currently 120 units. And the building area is 230,868 square feet.
So you said, I'm sorry, 6 studio,
6 studio.
62 1-bedroom?
I believe I have, I'm reading this right. You have to bear with me. The print on these plans is so small. Let's see. 57, 60. I think 73 1-bedroom units.
Said, okay, 73 1-bedroom.
And then 43 2-bedroom?
And then we have 6, 8, 10, 29, let's see, 39, yes, 42 2-bedroom units
Okay, so there's about 128 units
total.
for an 120, so there's less parking spots than there
There's
are
120
units.
units, yeah, 120 units. We don't typically provide 1 parking spot for every bedroom either. So. And the number of parking spaces, if you bear with me, because they just redesigned, they were working on the redesign based on comments from the project review committee, and they redesigned some of the parking. If you bear with me, see if I can find the new parking plan. So. Let's see. Okay. 28 spaces under the building, and, let's see. You bear with me, I think I do not have the full parking count. I apologize, I do not have this broken out for you. Yeah. I will have to double check then on the number of parking spaces.
Okay.
Because I just don't think that the architects have put all the numbers on here. I have 126 parking spaces
Okay.
on the plans that I currently have, and I believe they were being revised one more time. So,
Does that include the 28 underground?
no, I think that includes that. That's my plans show 126 parking spaces, so I believe that's correct.
Including the 28?
Yes, that includes the 28 underground. For 120 units, and then we have the office space in the adjacent, the second building.
Thank you.
So in terms of, just for my own clarification and for the rest of council, I mean, the only thing we have is just one picture. So we
Is that
don't,
what you've received?
that's all we have.
Oh,
So
okay.
we don't have any of that other detail. And you said what you have is also now being revised? So
This
what
is
you have
currently in the office, in the zoning office. As part of this process, we were required to go to the project review committee, which
Right.
did make some significant design changes before we reached this point.
Okay. So how long is it going to be before those changes are completed and we would be able to see those?
They're virtually done. I just don't have the most current drawings. We were at the PRC, I think, last week, and they were actually very happy with the changes that were made before the meeting we were there, because we had been there previously and they had given some comments. Our architects made all the changes that the PRC committee requested. They had very, very minimal comments at the last meeting, so we will not be returning to them, and we will
Okay.
just complete the site plan approval process.
So is it
We're well underway.
reasonable to expect that we might be able to get copies of those prior to our meeting on Tuesday?
Yes, they are on file downstairs. They have them in this building, so absolutely.
Okay. So who in the, I guess Kate,
We can make sure that you get
you
them.
can get those to us?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so given the fact that we're going to receive new plans, I'm going to ask that we hold this until Tuesday, and it'll give us a chance to review those plans.
And Vice President Miller, could we add to that request to have the firm number of parking, because our response was 124, the developer's saying 126 in terms of parking. Could we just
Yeah.
also get those
Yes.
numbers clarified?
Absolutely, Councilmember Hague. I was expecting that would be a part of the package, but if you could just make sure that specific
Sure.
answer is in the package, that would be
So
helpful.
you have one, can I just ask, Mr. Hague, you have how many parking spaces in your submission?
We were given a response to the question on parking of 124 spots indicated on site.
That's correct, 124.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not the one, you had mentioned 126.
I'm sorry, I think I added wrong, because
Okay.
the architects didn't add up the numbers for me. So, I apologize, I'm looking at these tiny little plans adding the details, so.
Mhm.
But yes, there's 124 parking spaces on 120 units.
Okay.
Okay.
But certainly, what's typical during the approval process is, we receive comments from the engineering staff, from zoning staff, and I think that the project is pretty much, the design is really where it needs to be, but we do
Okay.
have to complete the process, so.
Good. The only other question that I had is, the documentation that we have here suggests that there will be 27,000 square feet of retail and office space. It doesn't really clarify how much is retail and how much is office, and I know that part of this design includes offices for Krista. Is that correct still?
Maybe, perhaps, I'll have to verify that. There is
Yes.
office space provided.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. If you could help us understand then how much is retail and how much is office,
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
the only retail area is a small retail area that's designed really to be something along the nature of a coffee shop on East Avenue, right out on the front, to provide a connectivity to the street, a place where people can congregate, sort of bring life to the street, where people can look up and down East Avenue. And then the area along Charlotte Street is the office area,
Okay.
a separate office building. And I believe I have the square footages here.
So we're not looking at first floor retail along the full streetscape of the building then, just for that
Along
small
the East
area?
Avenue
Along the East Avenue.
corridor, but not all the
frontage.
way.
But not all the way along
along the
Union
length of the
Street
building,
or,
right.
okay, I see. All right, thank you.
And would you like me to submit these through
Um,
Dina?
You
or
can
through-
submit them to me
True.
and I'll get them. Thank you.
Okay.
True, yes.
Yes, Vice President Miller.
Yes,
Just also, if there is any change on the plan to have 10% of the units be affordable, that would be good to know as well. Thanks.
That
Great.
is currently included in the plan.
yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay.
We will move on then to introductory number 183, authorizing the sale of a vacant land parcel at 83 Mortimer Street. Are there any questions from council regarding the 83 Mortimer Street parcel? Introductory number 183. Seeing none, I would accept a motion and a second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. And I say aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Okay, and we have one abstention. So, the motion passes 3-0-1. If there's no further business to come before the Business and Economic Development Committee, we stand adjourned.
All right. I'd like to call the Community Neighborhood Development Community Committee to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Here.
Councilmember Conklin.
Here.
Councilmember Clifford,
Here.
Vice President Miller,
Here.
President Scott.
Great. I'd like to also acknowledge we're joined by council members Spall, Patterson, and Haig. Introductory number 184, authorizing the sale of real estate. Any questions, comments, or concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 185 is amending the zoning code text for the Planned Development District, number 7, Rochester Science Park. Public hearing to be held at 5 p.m. after the committee meetings. Questions, comments? Hearing none. Accept a motion to consider. All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 186, authorizing a professional service agreement for the zombie and vacant property remediation and prevention initiative. Any questions, comments? Not?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 187, authorizing an amendatory agreement with the Center for Dispute Settlement Incorporated for the city's housing and rehabilitation and repair programs. There were questions on this. They have been answered. Were they done to satisfaction?
Move to
Hearing-
adopt.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 188, amending the zoning code, chapter 120 of the municipal code with regard to notification requirements for information, meetings, and public hearings. There's also a public hearing to be held at 5 after the committee meetings. And for this item, I am actually going to make a motion to refer to the zoning director for review by planning commission. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Introductory number 218, local law amending the city charter with respect to organization of the Department of Neighborhood and Business Development. There's also a public hearing to be held on this item at 5 p.m. after committee. Questions, comments, concerns on this item?
There's no public hearing.
Did I miss one? No? Hearing none,
I'll move to adopt.
a motion to consider.
Consider.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 219, amending the municipal code with respect to the organization of the Department of Neighborhood and Business Development. Also a public hearing to be held at 5 p.m. on this item after committee meetings. Questions, comments, concerns? Not, I'll entertain a motion to consider.
I'll move to consider.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Introductory number 221, authorizing an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County for lead paint poisoning prevention inspection services. Hearing no questions, comments?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I believe that is all for our committee. If that is, oh, yes, Councilmember Conklin.
Just a point of order. On a
Yes.
local law, I don't believe, we don't hold the public hearing. The mayor holds the public hearing, doesn't she?
It says
This
here,
council
public hearing.
doesn't. Huh?
So then we have it listed here incorrectly, because that's what it says for here.
Oh, I don't have it listed on mine. But the local law, the mayor holds the public hearing within 15 days. Council doesn't have the public hearing.
Okay. So we can go back on that item, but this, my document here says public hearing, so would you like me to just, we can go back?
No, we don't
Yeah.
have to. I mean, we can consider it, but
I think if I might, that is correct, that under the charter, the mayor holds the public hearing on local laws. It sometimes is confusing because on local improvement ordinances, the council holds the public hearing
Right.
before voting.
Yeah.
On local laws, the mayor holds the public hearing
Right.
after the council votes.
yep.
So consider still all right at this
Sure.
point?
We can leave it considered, but I just wanted to, we don't,
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that
Well,
we didn't
then-
hold that hearing.
Correction for next time, team. Okay, so then at this point, then there are no additional items before this committee, then we are adjourned.
Matt?
I'd like to call the Parks and Public Works Committee to order and have the clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Hague,
Here.
Councilmember Patterson, Councilmember Spall, Vice President Miller,
Here.
President Scott.
Here.
We're also joined by council members Clifford, Conklin, Ortiz, and Spall. Or Spall, or you're on the committee, aren't you?
I'm on your committee, buddy.
But you're here too, you know.
And I'm here.
Just wanted to say your name twice.
Thank you,
Uh,
Matt.
Introductory number 189, appropriating funds and authorizing agreements for the 2017 preventive maintenance project, maintenance contract number 4 project. Any questions? There was at least one question from Council President Scott. Any regarding the MWBE policy and residency? I know on this particular project, it comes under a different auspice because it's a federal government, but there were some additional thoughts there, and President Scott, I didn't know if you had any other questions or comments.
Well, I think my comments actually were more about setting up the path forward for displaying this information on an ongoing basis in these kinds of items. So we can provide you additional details, but that was, we ask you the same questions repeatedly. You give us answers, and I'm sure they're good answers. I just don't remember what they are. So if you put them in the item, that will cut down a couple of steps on that. All right?
Council President Scott, that concern has been noted, and it will be part of our process in the future.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments on 189? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
Move it.
Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 190, appropriating funds and authorizing agreements for the 2017 preventive maintenance contract number 4 project. Any questions? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
Move it.
Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 191, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $100,000 bonds of said city to finance the reconstruction of certain portions of Cleveland Street, Draper Street, Central Park, Merchants Road, and Browncroft Boulevard related to the 2017 preventive maintenance contract number 4 project. Any questions? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 192, appropriating funds for the 2016 preventive maintenance contract 2 street project. Councilmember Clifford, you had a couple questions about this. Do you have any additional questions?
I think I saw in the paper, though, that the DOT is going to be redoing the roundabout, right? So we're gonna tear it up this year and then they'll do the roundabout next year?
That's correct.
It'll be a long couple of years. Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions on 192? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
Move it. Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 193, appropriating funds for the 2016 Preventive Maintenance Contract 2 Street Project. Any questions on 193? Not,
Second?
moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 194, approving geometric changes related to the Atlantic Avenue at Merriman Street safety improvements. A public hearing to be held at 5 p.m. after the committee meetings. Had a conversation with both our commissioner and our city engineer, along with council member Spall, and we're going to hold this until we can have a little bit more community conversation and understanding on this, and so we'll hold that for a little bit, and assuming Commissioner or Jim that there's nothing that would jeopardize funding or timetable for this since we talked earlier this week.
Yes, Councilperson Haig, this is a very small project, between $25,000 and $40,000. There's no time limit associated with the funds, so we're okay with that.
Okay, thank you. Introductory number 195, authorizing an agreement with Labella Associates DPC for bridge and structural engineering services. Any questions or additional questions? There were several from Councilmember Conklin, including, and I did see we received the bridge inventory. Are there any additional questions related to this item? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 196, authorizing an amendatory agreement for the Charlotte Street and Hagues Alley Improvement Project. Any questions on 196? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory 197, amending the authorization of a services agreement with the New York State Power Authority for the 5 Cities Energy Plan Program. Any questions on 197?
Move it.
Second?
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 198, appropriating funds and authorizing an agreement for the Dewey Avenue Driving Park Avenue Intersection Realignment Project. There was a question or two on this. Any additional questions? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 199, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $428,000 bonds of said city to finance a portion of the costs of the street reconstruction of the Dewey Avenue Driving Park Avenue Intersection Realignment Project. Any questions on 199? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 200, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $463,000 bonds of said city to finance a portion of the cost of the water main replacement for the Dewey Avenue Driving Park Avenue Intersection Realignment Project. Any questions on 200?
Move it.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 201, authorizing an agreement for the Flower City Park and Parkdale Terrace Curb Replacement Project. Councilmember Clifford, you had a couple questions on this. Do you have any additional questions?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 202, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $555,300 bonds of said city to finance the street improvements related to the Flower City Park and Parkdale Terrace Curb Replacement Project. Any questions on 202?
Move it.
Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 203, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $102,000 bonds of said city to finance Water appurtenance adjustments, and thanks for that one, and catch basin replacements along Flower City Park and Parkdale Terrace related to the 2017 Flower City Park and Parkdale Terrace curb replacement project. Anybody have questions about what an appurtenance adjustment is or anything like that? If not, Mark, what's an appurtenance, or Pat, what's an appurtenance adjustment?
They made that up.
Please don't answer the question.
What's his breakup?
It's a component of a item, say a hydrant. There would be a valve attached to the hydrant. It would be an appurtenance to the hydrant. So it's just an ancillary feature.
I appreciate that for a future crossword puzzle. Any additional questions on 203? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 204, authorizing an agreement for the Rochester Riverside Convention Center escalator assessment. And we have a motion to amend this, and that is an amendment changes the source of funds for the agreement from 2016-17 cash capital to 2015-16 cash capital. Any questions either on the project or on the amendment?
I have
Council
a
President.
question. I'm wondering, was there any discussion about how long this might take? I know this is the assessment,
Yeah,
and then the work would have to be done and so forth.
During the actual assessment process, they will provide us with timelines of what's going to be down and what's going to happen there. We have a person who's coming in from Maryland who is the expert in the field of conveyances. So we're going to have a real good timeline in how we can stage it so it can not interfere with the operation of the convention center.
That's really important. You know, the construction and stuff it's challenging over there. And yesterday, or day before yesterday, I mean, I knew that the escalator wasn't working, and you all know how I love walking upstairs, right? So I parked on 6, because there was no, and this is about the garage, not the escalator, but there was no parking on the first 2-3 levels. 6. You know the elevator's not working, right? But we'll talk more about that later. Thank you.
Was not aware.
It was not working.
Not aware of that. We will look into that matter.
Any additional questions on 204?
So moved.
Can I have a motion to amend introductory number 204?
Move to amend.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Now let's vote on introductory number 204 as amended. Do I have a motion as amended?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 205, authorizing agreements for the Mount Hope Avenue Phase 2 Improvement Project. Any questions on 205?
Move it.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 206, a bond ordinance of the City of Rochester, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1,880,000 bonds of said city to finance the milling and resurfacing of certain portions of Market View Heights streets related to the 2017 Market View Heights Residential Milling and Resurfacing Program project. Any questions on 206?
Comment.
Second.
Councilmember Patterson.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a succinct comment. Can we take that as a motion to adopt as well?
Move.
Second.
And seconded, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 207, authorizing an mandatory agreement with Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. for the Ridgeway Avenue Transportation Improvement Project. Councilmember Clifford.
Sorry. Commissioner, I think maybe I misunderstood a conversation that you and I had about this project. So the project is complete, safe and easy, there's no,
This is the final stages of the closeout of our
Okay.
relationship with this company. This has been a long, drawn-out process. We've we're at a point where we're ready to close this project out.
Okay, so this was going back and finishing it, but it is indeed finished.
This is to
so
finish this project.
I should just calm down. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional comments on 207? All right, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 208, authorizing agreements and funding for the Shared Mobility Program. Any questions on 208? Councilmember Patterson.
What is car share?
What is car sharing?
Yeah.
Car sharing is like Zipcar, where you have a car that people can rent to go to. You buy like a membership and you use it when you need it.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional?
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 209, authorizing an application to New York State for funding of water quality infrastructure projects. Any questions on 209?
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 210, authorizing an agreement with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for the disposition of electronic waste material. I just have one comment on this, and it's to thank the advocacy of our Assemblymember Bronson for this. He brought to the Assembly's attention that we were incurring a lot of costs associated with New York State's mandate on electronic disposal, and as a result, there is now some grants that we can get reimbursed for those costs. And so, Commissioner, if I'm correct, this will cover about half of what we were spending.
Yes, Councilperson Haig, it will cover 50% of our exposure, and we look to continue to take a very assertive step dealing with these electronic waste. Also, we should thank State Senator Joe Rohrbach for sponsoring a electronic waste day that he did in October of 2016, and hopefully, not hopefully, we're confident that he will support another one this coming fall.
Yeah, so hopefully between these various initiatives, we get them out of the waste stream, and when we do, we get some of our costs reimbursed. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Any additional questions, or I know there were a couple questions on 210, if I remember correctly. Any additional questions or comments?
Councilmember Haig?
Oh, Vice President Miller.
Yes, just a clarification, because this e-waste is critical. And I noted on my way over here, 3 televisions sitting at the curb, and they had the address of the home spray painted on them in green paint, which meant that somebody came to pick up the rest of the refuse and left those there. What happens, I think we asked this question before, and I'm just still not quite clear what's going to happen to those units, because my suspicion is that they're just going to sit there. And then what happens is they sit there for, several hours, and then people break the screens, and then, it just becomes a bigger mess. So if somebody did this correctly, they would have to take those units to some recycling center, right?
Well, there's several options for them. One is to take it to your Best Buy or your Sears. They have a recycling redemption center where if you purchase a television, they'll take that television back per the state law. Or you can take it to the Avion Drive Recycling Center that's sponsored by Monroe County,
Right.
and they will recycle it for you. If you leave it at the curb, we would come, give you a notice and order, cite you, and give you a certain amount of time to take it off the curb. And when we come back to re-inspect, if it's not off the curb, we will pick it up and then we will charge you.
Okay.
And that's part of this amount of money that we talked about that's being provided to us through this grant application. It pays for that, the things that are left at the curb. We're not going to leave it at the curb because it becomes a public nuisance and an eyesore and hazard to folks, but we give you a certain amount of time to move it off the curb. The law dictates that we cannot have this in our waste stream. We cannot collect it through a normal collection program. So we give them options. We have pamphlets. We have a link on our website to how do you get rid of e-waste. So we're really doing everything to be proactive about it, and we're going to sponsor, like I said earlier, another e-waste recycling day.
Okay. So we don't have any location in the city that e-waste can be dropped off at. Is that correct?
Well, there is an opportunity that I've been working with Karen's group and a young entrepreneur who's trying to do that. He opened up a recycling center on Smith Street and trying to work out the details of that. So that can be a possibility for future opportunities. But getting to the point where we're at, I think it's we're really at a good place because we have a collection structure in place. We have a recycling system where we can, take the material once we collect it, and we also have funding to support this. So there's a location that we're looking at as a potential drop-off location, but that's going to cost us additional funds. And this grant application will allow us to support that initiative.
Okay. And for the units that are left and then they're cited and then they remain and then you collect them and you charge them, that charge goes onto the tax bill?
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions on 210? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. Introductory number 211, authorizing a project participation agreement and funding to repair a support column at 99 Court Street. Any questions on 211?
Move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 5-0. If there's no additional business to come before this committee, we are adjourned. I'd like to call the Public Safety, Youth, and Recreation Committee to order and have the clerk call the roll.
Councilmember McFadden, Councilmember Clifford,
Here.
Councilmember Hague,
Here.
Vice President Miller,
Here.
President Scott.
Here.
Introductory, give you 10 more seconds so you can at least sit. Introductory number 212, authorizing an agreement with the Center for Governmental Research, Inc. to study the process and performance of the Civilian Review Board. Any questions or comments on introductory 212? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 4-0. Introductory number 213, authorizing a professional services agreement for skate park design and grant seeking. I know several of us had some questions regarding our potential skate park. Are there any additional questions regarding this? If not, do I have a motion to
Move
adopt?
to adopt.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 4-0. Introductory number 214, authorizing agreements for the Teenage Pregnancy Prevention Program. Any questions or comments on 214?
Move to adopt.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry,
Aye.
Council President, did you have a question?
No.
No. And our Chief of Staff, I have to just disclose on this one? Okay, thank you. So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? I say aye, passes 4-0. Introductory number 215, authorizing an equipment funding agreement for the Police Department. Any questions on 215? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I say aye, passes 4-0. Introductory number 216, authorizing agreements and appropriating funds for veterinary services. Any questions on 216? If not, do I have a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? I say aye, passes 4-0. If there's no additional business to come before us, we are adjourned.
I have it right here.
You're on- Hey. How you doing? Well, it's the, out and is ready. The meeting will come to order, and the clerk will call the roll, please.
Councilmember Clifford?
Here.
Councilmember Conklin? Here. Councilmember Hague?
Here?
Councilmember McFadden? Councilmember Ortiz? Here. Councilmember Patterson?
Are you
Council-
not here?
He had sunstroke.
Okay. He's
Council-
here.
Councilmember Spall?
Yes.
Vice President Miller?
Here.
President Scott?
Here. Now I'd like to ask the clerk to begin the hearing, please.
Pursuant to law, a public hearing will now be had on the following matter: amending the zoning code text for the planned development district number 7, Rochester Science Park. Introductory number 185. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
There are no speakers. That hearing is closed.
Pursuant to law, a public hearing will now be had on the following matter: amending the zoning code, chapter 120 of the municipal code with regard to notification requirements for information meetings and public hearings. Introductory number 188. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
There are no speakers. That hearing is closed.
Pursuant to law, a public hearing will now be had on the following matter: approving geometric changes related to the Atlantic Avenue at Merriman Street safety improvements. Introductory number 194. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
There are no speakers. That hearing is closed.
Pursuant to law, public hearing will now be had on the following matter: amending the municipal code with respect to the organization of the Department of Neighborhood and Business Development. Introductory number 219. Any persons desiring to speak in reference to said matter will now be heard.
There are no speakers. That hearing is closed. That concludes the items presented for the hearing for this public hearing. Therefore, we are adjourned. These items will be taken up at our regular meeting on June 20th. Thank you and good night. Okay, we did our duty.